most exciting and progressive year of the ASA Pro Tour. Week after week, the best skaters in the world came out to compete and accumulate points for the right to attend the most prestigious event of the season, with hopes of being crowned world champion. Leading up to the championships, the tour spanned 7 months and 11 contests, and only the top-ranked skaters earned the right to attend the grand finale in Fort Myers, Florida. Today, we look back at the journey these skaters took on the road to the World Championships. Hey there, everyone. Todd Shays here with Mark Shays. The standouts on the tour this year were the ones who really pushed the limits on their skates, going bigger, trying some of the most difficult, risky things possible. And yet the skaters who stayed on their feet, consistency was key in 1999.
It's going to be interesting to see whether progression is going to be rewarded. Because some people, you know, like do the safe run, the good safe run, and go through whatever. Guys that are going to try to be pushing the sport, tricks are going to be a lot harder, so they might fall and, you know, might not be at the top at the end of the, you know, at the end of the day. So it's going to be interesting if you can mix consistency with progression.
Late April, Louisville, Kentucky, and horse racing is pretty much on everyone's mind. But this year, the Kentucky Derby Festival brought aggressive skating to the forefront.
And the Southern California crew, the Esco Zoo, is in full effect. Josh Petty and Louis Zamora getting super technical on the course, showing that street skating has really progressed in the off-season. Last year's 7th-ranked skater Eric Shrine, also from Escondido, and his friend and rookie Robert Leovanos all rocked the house. 4 of the top 10. What makes him so good? Maybe it's something in the water.
Southern Cal is where the best street skating is, and it's where all my good friends are. Esco Zoo.
Kids out here just have the fire in their eyes, man. They just push it. That's kind of where it started. Like, all the crazy great skaters came from Southern California, so I think the legend has to live, I think.
When we all get together, it's just like, you know, you just feel the positivity with skating, and it's just more than skating to us, you know. It's like, it's a way of life, it's who we are, and
everyone skates to push each other and to progress the sport.
Well, that passion translated onto the street course to the Northern California boy, Nick Riggle, as well. This year would be a big year for him, starting off super technical. He's always been known for creativity, but he also had some technicality as well. And of course, Aaron Feinberg, the #1 ranked skater of 1998. He came out on a mission this year as well, getting super big and creative with some of his lines. A solid start for Aaron Feinberg showed that he'd be a big player, but the surprise of the day, Takashi Sato's been around for some time, and he came out and whooped everybody in the first stop of the ASA Pro Tour. Takashi's go big style set the stage that in order to win on street, you had to go big in 99.
2 weeks later, Richmond, Virginia at the X Trials, and the energy was high. Reigning world champion Matt Salerno was back, and he had something to prove.
And in typical fashion, Matt did prove something by going super big, but only solid enough here for 3rd place. Why? Because of young guys like this. Blake Dennis absolutely ripping with the most technical trick of the entire event, dropping down to an alley-oop topsoil. Sean Robertson, he went with that motto, go big or go home, cruising across the sub box and trying some very risky moves. Here on the launch box, getting upside down, a little flipperoo put him on top. First place for Sean Robertson. He was stoked.
Back in Louisville, the Vert Dogs were getting ready to skate their first comp of the year.
And who better to kick things off than the #1 ranked skater and overall tour champion in 1998, Matt Lindemuth, throwing natural and unnatural tricks, putting him in the top 3. But muscling his way up into 2nd place, right above him, #2 ranked skater Mike Budnick. On top, Chris Edwards, the grandfather of vert skating.
I don't even know how he did half the tricks he did without following anybody, without having anybody as a role model like we did. We had him, so we just copied whatever he did.
I mean, he was one of the first who was really skating so much, who he finds so many tricks. Now the inline is so big also because of him, you know.
And that's why he's respected so much.
because of just what he's accomplished and what he's done in the beginning and even now. It's amazing to see him still in it, and it's just so good to see.
Still in it is quite an understatement. He absolutely demolished the competition at the first tour stop, throwing some of his old favorites. He had been out for 12 full months with 2 broken arms. He came back and absolutely dominated.
And that victory in Louisville secured Chris's 5th invitation to the Summer X Games. On to Richmond, and many more of the big guns were here as the Australian contingent had crossed the big ocean.
The rivalry between Matt Salerno and Cesar Mora would continue here in Richmond. However, Matt Lindenmuth had some trouble because the level of competition had gone up so much. Here, only able to place 9th, he dropped a little bit in the ranking. Part of the reason? This guy, a big surprise, Shane Yost, a new rookie Australian wonder, came out with all sorts of tricks that opened everybody's eyes. Eitan Kramer, with the same tricks, but super big, did the standards, the nice 540, and that was good enough to put him in 3rd. Cesar Mora came up and stepped it up once again, but this time not enough to beat Matt Salerno.
Matt Salerno goes really, really big. I think if you watch him on a street course, he seriously just blows my mind. He goes humongous every time. He always looks for the craziest thing, and he does the craziest thing on it every time.
Whatever Matt wants to do, he can do it because he's good at skating.
He can do amazing things, you know, stuff that people will never do. He does in his sleep.
He's one of those guys that can win both street and vert at any given comp, anytime. I mean, he's just the best skater in the world.
Matt Salerno, with such natural talent, came out and beat everybody by going natural and unnatural and making them all look equally as easy both directions. He took home the gold in Richmond.
The ASA overall rankings are based on a skater's top 8 finishes over a 52-week period. So while the current rankings reflect a lot of what happened last season, we're already beginning to see some movement. When we come back, we head west and south of the border to hang out with former world champion Marco Hintze for some extreme guitar lessons. The ASA Road to the World Championships is brought to you by L2 Apparel, Big Air Fashion, by Naya, Pure Spring Water, hungry for life, thirsty for Naya. And for all the latest on skating, check out asskate.com. Feed your habit. Welcome back to the ASA Road to the Championships. Stop 3, Los Angeles, California at Ontario Mills. While the judges got loose at Sega Gameworks, they were in for a real treat out on the halfpipe. The story of the day in Ontario, Cesar Mora. With Matt Salerno gone, Cesar's real competitor himself.
After racking up the 2 highest scores of the day, the only person that even got close was this guy, Javier Bujanda. Out of Barcelona, Spain, he showed a nice style, tweaking everything he pulled. Right behind him was Mike Budnick, who once again showed that consistency pays off, nailing his way into the top 3. Budnick still sat on top of the rankings, but Cesar Mora showed that if he kept coming to events, he would eventually find his way on top. Throwing the most difficult tricks, he almost nailed the 1080, and even though he missed it closely, he knew it was good enough for first.
Keeping the crowd happy over at the street course, it was the High School Hall of Fame. Not one skater over the age of 19 in the men's street finals.
Although that doesn't mean that they're all rookies. Aaron Feinberg led the way, and so did this guy, Marco Hintze from Mexico, at only 18 years old. Already a former world champion. He knew what it took on the course, and he had lots of creativity, mixing it up with big spins.
Okay, hello, my name's Marco Hintze. We're going to check out my hometown, Ensenada, Mexico. We're going to check out all these spots down the strip. Yeah, I hope you guys like it, and I'll tell you about a little bit on my life. This used to be the first skate park we had here in Ensenada, and it used to have a vert ramp back there, spine down here. This was all big. It was like a huge wall, kind of like Marseille in France, but on a little bit on the ghetto tip, you know. But now it's ghetto, but it's still just to skate, you know. All you need is a pair of wheels, concrete. As soon as you can roll, can have fun and just keep doing your own thing. It's getting crazier and crazier. I just cannot imagine what we're going to be doing or everybody else is going to be doing in a couple of years, you know. I feel there's still no limits yet, you know. We haven't reached the point when you say, okay, is this all that can be done? Is this all that's going to be done? I still feel that there's more to be done. And I hope people start appreciating the sport a little bit more than they used to, because it's still kind of new compared to other sports, but I think it's getting there. It's getting the respect it deserves. I'm actually planning to move to the U.S. just for a little bit of time for the season, but I'm still coming back, you know. I'm always coming back. Hell yeah.
True country pride from Marco Hince. A lot of pride with this next guy, too. Nicky Adams coming out of Montreal, following the legacy of Jonathan Bergeron, the X Games champion from '98. He got completely twisted around, top 3. Blake Dennis, on his quest to be the #1 ranked skater, dominated the street course as well, locking on with beautiful tricks. But today would belong to the man who's won so many times before, Aaron Feinberg. While many of the skaters have the technical ability, Aaron puts together the most creative lines consistently.
While Aaron holds on to #1, the biggest move of the day, Blake Dennis jumps up 8 spots, landing 4th in the overall rankings. 2 of our top 10, Northern Californians.
Northern California develops like a lot of creative skaters.
John Hood has influence in Northern California scene a lot. He's an awesome skater. He's a real technical skater. He gets ill on rails and a bunch of other stuff. He's pretty much every little kid's dream is just to skate with John Hood.
They believe in just having fun and doing what they love to do, form expression for themselves, and that's what it's all about.
And while I'm not at the top of the rankings, John Julio's true to his word, spends a lot of time each year skating with the kids at skate parks all across the country. The next stop on the tour was at a skate park, Real Ride Skate Park in Salt Lake, and the chill atmosphere led to some awesome skating.
Despite a pretty major fall earlier in the day, NorCal's Nick Riggle came out and placed 7th, just behind John Julio. Marco Hince mixed it up, nailing all the rails and spinning his way into the top 5. Following his great finish in Ontario Mills, Blake Dennis at only 16 tried to work his way up the rankings even further, here finishing in 3rd with super creative lines. Matt Salerno, who's known for winning the big ones, did just that here in Salt Lake, spinning and doing more tricks than anyone else. Almost 20 tricks on the course, including this massive soul grind. But the big guy of the day was the rookie, Jaron Grove, and despite not taking first, he at his home park showed everybody that going big and being gutsy was going to pay off for him in the long run. Jaron Grove, 2nd place, a rookie now on the map.
Jared Grove, at the end of his run, he'll never fails that he will always try the craziest thing. Like, he'll just throw it, like, he's not even caring about himself. Like, you can totally tell he doesn't care about what happens to him. He just hopefully lands a trick.
Going 360 up the soul grind on the big vert wall, that's the first time that's ever been tried in, like, all of skating. So it's been done on little stuff, but to come out and try to do it in your contest run and, you know, just go for the win and stuff, that's what it's about.
It's what I love to do. Something I found that I like to do better than anything else.
After dropping out of the top 10 coming into this event, Matt Salerno's victory in Salt Lake brings him firmly back to 6th place. Closing the gap on Aaron Feinberg, Blake Dennis in 2nd place. Back at the world-class half-pipe at the Real Ride Skate Park, the Australasian invasion. The field dominated by 5 Australians, 2 Japanese.
This ramp was used last year for the most original trick competition. The skaters all loved it, and because it was a permanent structure, it rode like gold. And who started off ripping? Takeshi Yasutoko, at only 13 years old, this competition veteran surprised everybody with bigger airs. Manuel Balearis, who's been doing this longer than just about everybody else in the field, came out throwing huge 720s, good enough for 2nd. Mike Budnick loved the ramp because it was so wide. He put together very nice lines going back and forth both directions with solid tricks, good enough for fourth. But Matt Salerno was the man of the day. Once again, this time blasting an 84, the highest score so far this season on vert.
Despite his less than incredible sixth-place finish in Salt Lake, Cesamora climbs to second place overall. Matt Salerno's victory places him firmly in sixth. When we come back, the big gig, Summerfest in Milwaukee, where former tour champion Ty Chris makes his return. Milwaukee Summerfest is the largest music festival in all of North America, and today it set the stage for some of the best skating of the year.
That skating will be led by the top 3 ranked skaters, including this guy, Blake Dennis, currently ranked number 2. Every stop he'd been to this year so far, he landed himself in the top 3, and this was no exception, pulling off 3rd place. Every year, Aaron Feinberg skates well in Milwaukee, but here, he won it. Skating the best he'd skated all year, great lines, Aaron Feinberg found himself on top. Sean Robertson took the biggest risks of the day, and if he had landed them all, they would have paid off probably for 1st place. But here, the huge 540, he went down, only good enough for 2nd.
Over at the vert ramp, the competition was fierce. A lot of the big guns there giving Mike Budnick, current leader, a big run for his money.
While the top American, Budnick still only placed 8th. Such an international field, skating super well, including this guy, Takeshi Yasutoko, once again upping the ante with some incredible lip tricks. Sam Fogarty had been dropping lower in the rankings this season after finishing last year in the top 3, improved here with a top 3 finish. But today was really a battle between the big guys, Cesar Mora and Ty Chris.
So hi, my name is Ty Chris. I was born in Algeria. I was living in Greece for in France for 17 years, and actually now I am living in Greece. I really grew up totally free because I had strange life. I never been to school. We did, a lot of other things. I did, every sport, snowboard, wakeboard, tennis. I was playing really many years tennis. I did, really everything. And I like also a lot to play piano, make music. Totally different, but I really like. When you arrive to make a sound by your hands, the feeling is really, really great. And also there was a magic part, of my life. I start magic like always by passion, And I did more and more and more. And for like 6 months, 1 year, it was a little bit my job. I was doing some show, for friends, for some restaurants, stuff like that. It was cool. That's cool. I still do it sometimes, for other friends. I don't know. I like really, generally, in my life, I like to learn a lot,
Ty Chris, the consummate student, dominated and dazzled out here. Cesar Mora came out throwing his best stuff, but today, even his best wasn't good enough. There he nailed the 1080, but the wobbly landing wasn't good enough to go against the magician, Ty Chris. Ty came out throwing brand new tricks that no one had ever seen before. Getting backwards, the gato spin, and he also pulled a 900 flat spin. Nobody had ever done it before in competition.
So after Milwaukee, Cesar Mora overtakes Mike Budnick, holding down the #1 position on the tour. While not yet in the top 10, Takeshi Yasutoko closing in. When we come back, one of the most progressive vert contests of the year, Boulder, Colorado. Hey, welcome back to the ASA Road to the World Championships. Stop 6 of the ASA Pro Tour moved on from the noisy rock and roll scene in Milwaukee to what was expected to be the quiet mountain town of Boulder, Colorado. But this sports-savvy community refused to sit on their hands, and the skaters rewarded them with some of the most progressive skating of the year.
So progressive, in fact, that 5 of the top skaters received 5 of the top scores of the entire season, led by the 2 Japanese Yasutoko brothers and, of course, the Australian invasion. 6 of the top 10 led by Cesar Mora.
I'm proud to be an Aussie, I have to say.
Here, all of the pro skaters like really close friends. They've grown up together, they've skated together. You know, whenever they see each other, they love it. You know, they skate all the time. They're on the phone, they'll go out and party together. You can skate at any public ramp or bowl. They're all over the place. All it is a 10-minute drive in any direction, and you're pretty much at a ramp or a bowl from where you live.
They don't skate because video camera's out or someone's shooting photos. They skate every day because they like to skate.
Where we're brought up, sport is a huge part of life. Like, everybody's brought up doing something, you know, and we just happen to pick a sport and like it, so we get right into it.
And I think that passion just sort of follows through into the skating. They just use that to their advantage, and it slows you. It's like a fuel, and it just inspires you. So I think that's really what the Australian sort of special secret is all about.
So that secret was in full effect here. Matt Salerno and Cesar Mora, after absolutely dazzling competition, decided to up the ante. Matt Salerno was going for 1080 McTwist. It had never been landed before, and today would not be the day. But he set the stage for Cesar Mora to keep going. Egged on by the crowd, huge backflip got things rolling. Well overhead high, Cesar Mora had set the stage for a big moment in skating. At the suggestion of Mike Budnick, he threw a 1260. It had never been done before on a vert ramp, a fakie 1260 in competition. 1, 2, 3.5 full spins. Boulder, Colorado saw history in the making.
When you start to talk about guys that are just super determined to win and do well, just so focused on what they're doing. This year, Cesar Mora started the year off, he wanted to be #1. Every event he's turned up to, I think he's placed top 3. Right now, he's sitting on the top of the rankings, and you know what, he's going to be really hard to knock off there. You know, come Fort Myers this year, Cesar Mora, you are never going to see a guy want a contest badder than Cesar Mora wants Fort Myers, and he wants to be #1 in the world in 1999.
I apply myself to everything I enjoy doing. I apply myself to like 100%, and I don't like to lose.
Well, the huge vert contest on Saturday brought out an even bigger, more energetic crowd on Sunday. Many of the big names were out there, and today would be a day of surprises.
The first surprise, Aaron Feinberg, coming off of 2 back-to-back wins. Everybody expected him in the top 3. Here he was only able to place 7th. Having trouble with consistency, Aaron Feinberg still nailed a high score of 80. Nick Riggle once again got creative, mixing it up, doing a little bit different, but only good enough for 9th. Sean Robertson kept that go big style up and going natural and unnatural over the spine. Matt Salerno, in typical fashion, went bigger than anyone with huge 360s, mixed it up on the wall, and got technical, putting him in 2nd place. But the surprise of the day, no one expected it. The veteran, Corey Miller, he had gone winless in 5 years of competition, and out here he threw one of the hardest tricks ever on street, a parallel grab 900.
The sport's grown so fast in the past 5-6 years, and there's so much money now, so much exposure, and they're expecting so much of these guys out here. And I think that the kids are dealing really well with the pressures. They're skating amazing. The level of skating is getting higher and higher. I'm looking forward to see what kind of tricks they're going to be in the next year, how high they're going to take it.
Well, Jaron Grove represented the future here. He had a little bit of bad luck with consistency, but good enough for 4th place. The rookie was on fire.
So despite his weakest finish of the year, Aaron Feinberg holds on to #1, a spot he hasn't given up in almost a year. 2-2. When we come back, we'll get to know Nick Riggle a little bit better, and we'll head out to the left coast by the beach in Oceanside, California. Yeah, we're back with the ASA Road to the World Championships, hanging out by the beach, stop 7 of the ASA Pro Tour in Oceanside, California.
This was the closest Marco Ince would get to his hometown of Ensenada, so the whole family was there. Marco skated unbelievably well, mixing it up, spinning his way into the top 5. the rookie, Jaron Grove. He came out and he got upside down over and over, getting very gutsy on the course. Jaron skated well enough for 6th. Number 1 ranked Feinberg had some trouble here on the course. He tried to go big and he paid the price. Blake Dennis also had some trouble getting technical. But Sean Robertson, the 3rd of the top 3, skated unbelievably well. Mixing up the technicality with the guts here, the big nose pick 540 up and over the box put him on top. Nick Riggle, who skates very creatively, came out and utilized a very nice course, putting him in 2nd place. That 2nd would be his highest finish so far this season. He was definitely in the groove.
I'm a spiritual person. I know that. I wouldn't consider myself very religious, but I think there's something out there higher than us, and I think there's a lot more humans can do than they know. Music is my other half. That's all I do. I skate and I come home and play my guitar, and it's kind of a way to mellow out, you know, and create more. I just like to make up stuff on the guitar. Hopefully I'll be successful at doing what I love to do, which is skating or music, one or the other, you know? That's my wish.
Over at the beachside vert ramp, finally a chance for the Americans to make their mark. Strong showing from the Pennsylvania contingent.
Led by last year's number 1 ranked skater, Matt Lindenmuth. He had been missing a lot of events. He was back and in good form. Mixing it up, solid enough for 2nd place. Mike Budnick, who had finished in the finals every single stop so far this year, was less than an hour from his home of Irvine, California, so the pressure was on, but he rose to the challenge, placing 4th. But today was all about Cesar Mora. We've seen this so many times in the last couple of years. The trick difficulty, super high, winning by over 10 points.
No change in the top 6 of the rankings, but Takeshi Yasutoka, who started the year in 20th, continues his climb toward the top. When we come back, the tour crosses the Atlantic, where some of the Europeans begin to make their mark. Welcome back to the ASA Road to the World Championships. Stockholm, Sweden, stop 8, and many of the continent's best came out in force, making their debuts for the 1999 season. Also returning, the ever-consistent Japanese guys, and many of the Americans crossed the ocean as well to be here at the Gronalunda theme park.
Wilfred Rosignol out of Paris, France, surprised everybody by going super big and by mixing it up with a very creative line. But Sven Bokerst began his domination here in Stockholm with the huge 720s and flat spins, and not even Aaron Feinberg could touch him on the street. Sven sat in 1st, Aaron had a good line, but the best he could do was 3rd. Trailing right behind Aaron, a rookie, but a rookie who makes his mark in skating big this year, Brian Shima.
Brian Shima is an amazing skater. I admire how he skates a lot. He influences everybody around him, the way he skates. He looks at a course, say a street course, a different way than anybody else would.
He's got a really different style. He's another one of the originators. He could take a basic trick and make it just look so smooth and stylish that people just really appreciate our sport.
I just skate every day, trying to bring it to higher limits, doing crazier stunts.
Those higher limits on the vert ramp were created this week by Takeshi Yasutoka. The 13-year-old had shown all season that he had improved. However, today he was so good that no one could touch him. Not even his older brother, who had just come off winning the X Games. He skated very well, throwing flat spins in this huge 720, but it would not be enough. Barcelona, Spain's Javier Buhanda took his beautiful, clean style to the vert ramp, using the whole ramp and putting together a nice line, but only solid enough for 4th place. His teammate, Ty Chris, the magician, had won here last year. He had tons and tons of new tricks, but not good enough to catch Takeshi. American Mike Budnick loved this Stockholm ramp, and he finished in 5th.
We'll hang with street skater Bruno Louve and head to Frankfurt, Germany, when the ASA Road to the Championships comes back. Destination 9 on the ASA Road to the World Championships, skating Mecca, Frankfurt, Germany.
With this year in skating, the two biggest things throughout the year have been, with the new judging system, first of all, consistency, and second of all, pushing the sport in progression.
This course is very creative at the Rail Slide Skate Hall in Frankfurt, and Mark Dubier made the most of it, going up many of the banks and riding the unusual walls to 3rd place. Sven Bokers came up with a very creative line, getting technical up and over and showing some amplitude as well. But the man of the day was the skater voted best all around in Europe in '98.
Bruno Lowe's just craziest skater you can probably imagine right now on the tour. He's a really good skater. That guy just blows my mind. He's definitely going to be one that's progressing the sport 100%, and he's going to be around for a couple of years to do that.
Well, I hope so. He's only 18 years old. Here, guts. He threw some huge tricks, didn't stop, and got creative there with a little vertical wall stall, the first and only during the regular season.
So the street course was unique for its flat banks, the half pipe for its huge transitions, but these guys didn't spend all their time inside. One of the advantages to making your living flying around the world skating, skate by day, see another beautiful city by night. That's not a bad way to make a living, especially if you're a 13-year-old wonder kid from Japan.
Takeshi's young and he's got a lot of years ahead of him. He's consistent, like his brother, kind of robotic. So it's hard for him to, flail or run. So I think they're going to do well. They got a lot of hard tricks.
A2, I am really impressed because he really progressed a lot during the last 2 years. And now he's, I think, really a consistent skater. Maybe the style is not totally perfect yet, but he really can do everything. I mean, the spin both ways without any problem. And he's really complete, much more than before.
That style and that perseverance have put Eito Yasutoko in the limelight, winning the X Games in 1999. He skated very well here as well, placing 4th. And who wouldn't skate well with a little Wonder Twins activate from Mike Budnick? Nobody spends more time on the vert ramp than Takeshi Yasutoko, and it paid off here, putting him in 2nd. Ty Chris nabbed his 2nd win of the year with a solid 79.75. And while Shane Yost only placed 7th, he showed everybody that he had a few new tricks up his sleeve.
Shane Yost does a lot of flips. Crazy spinning. Explosive.
He can do 540 to 720 to 900 to 720 to flip, to spin, to switch, to whatever. And it's insane to watch. You can't even, I think he does more tricks and more in less time than anybody can even think. I think if he fell after 10 seconds, he will have beaten my whole run.
I think within any sport you do, you've got to, put in, a little bit of extra effort if you want a little bit extra out of it. So I've been putting in extra time, skating as much as I can, doing a little bit of extra strength work, build up the fitness, just so I can, do my best and perform at my best.
And perform at his best he did after the competition ended in Frankfurt, Germany. Shane Yost decided he wanted to be the first to hit a 1260 frontwards on the vert ramp, and he nailed it in his first ever attempt. 3.5 full rotations, upside down, frontwards, had never been done before. History was made once again on the vert ramp.
When we come back, we check in with the women and also catch up with the amateur circuit. As we continue with the ASA Road to the World Championships, how do these pros even get on the ASA Pro Tour? Well, it all starts with the ASA Amateur Circuit. With over 100 events throughout North America and Europe, the pathway to turning pro is clear. Skaters come out and compete at local events all around the world, vying for the top spots at the North American or European Amateur Championships. Of the thousands of skaters who come out each year, only a select few get their shot at turning pro.
It's all about the amateurs. I think that's what the sport's about, coming soon, the amateurs. The amateurs are seriously, right now, they're unbelievable. They're seriously unbeatable, these amateurs.
The amateur circuit is amazing, in my opinion. It's good to see the talent. It's just amazing. And, I mean, what can I say? It's like you need that just to progress the sport in all areas.
Amateur circuit is definitely going to progress the sport. It brings out new people every year, introduces the sport to, like, all new skaters around the world.
Without the amateur circuit, I wouldn't be here. Nobody would be here, you know?
I think it's really cool for the sport because you can look for the other skaters in other countries. You can see what they do, which style they have and everything. And also you can qualify for the ASA, so it's perfect for us in Europe to come to America.
I think it's really good because we got a chance to do, also come to pros, you know, like ASA Pro in America, you know. I think it's really great.
Most contests are won or lost on a street course, but whether amateur or pro, true skating belongs on the streets.
There's a huge difference between real street skating and street course skating. On street course skating, it's a lot of back-to-back tricks, a lot of flow, a lot of speed. On real street skating, the difficulty level is virtually like 3 times as high. You've got kids doing the most amazing tricks, but it's only one trick at a time.
Street skating is just going out to skate with your friends and challenging each other and like playing horse or whatever. It's just fun, you know, like, you go out and learn new stuff together. That's why street's so much more unique.
With like contests like this, all skaters coming from everywhere and you get big sessions. When you go street skating, you're just with your friends, and that's the difference.
In the streets, that's the life. You can skate everything.
There's some really good real street skaters who do amazing tricks, but maybe in competition they don't put it together, and maybe they can't do trick after trick after trick. But if you put them on one rail for 10 minutes, I mean, they will blow your mind with some of the technicality that they can do on it.
I know that a lot of people watch the contests on ESPN every weekend, and they see us skating on the street course and doing our thing, whatever, having our runs, trying to make top 10. And I feel like a lot of people see that, and they feel like it's what we do, that that's our sport, and it really isn't. What we do is we go out street skating. The street course is designed to sort of mimic the street environment, and I just think it would be really nice if people would understand more that skateboarding, rollerblading, and bike riding isn't about what they see on TV. It's about what we're doing off the cameras.
Back in front of the cameras, the very international field of women competitors have been going at it all year long, led, of course, by the reigning queen on vert and street, the fabulous Fabiola da Silva.
Fabiola is my friend.
Very good looking and very talented skater.
She's just taking it to the next level. She's so consistent and just, you know, so good at what she does.
She'll go skate with guys, and she'll be trying this, like, same, like, tricks as guys and, like, the street courses and stuff.
I think she has had a lot of effect on the sport for women and men, too, because you can see that this sport is just not for men.
Fabiola's proved
prove everybody wrong, and she's beaten a lot of guys in competition, so she's awesome.
I just try to have fun, because I think the most important, if you have fun, you're gonna do good. I like to play basketball. I like to play with Chachi. I'm playing going to school. I want to be a vet. No!
So heading into the championships of the women's tour, these are the top 10 street skaters. Of course, at the top of the field, Fabiola da Silva. Over on vert, Fabiola has yet to win a world championships, confounded the last 2 years by Ayumi Kawasaki.
The 1999 ASA Pro Tour season has been filled with blood, guts, and glory. You can catch all of it in the best wrecks and best trick shows. For a complete ESPN schedule of ASA events, check out asaskate.com.
When we come back, can Cesar Mora hold his spot at the top? ASA Road to the World Championships is brought to you by Slim Jim. When you need a little excitement, snap into a beefy, spicy Slim Jim. And for all the latest on skating, check out asaskate.com. Feed your habit. Destination 11, Portland, Oregon, and a big, beautiful vert ramp full of Australians.
Shane Yost came out early, starting off with the most solid runs of the day with a 74.25. Mike Budnick followed suit with a 74 even, working the ramp very nicely, putting him in third. And Andre Engelhard, who'd only been able to make it to a couple of events all year round, had his best finish here in fourth place. The crowd appreciated it, but Cesar Mora stepped it up. Shane Yost had been leading all day until Cesar pulled this, a massive 1080, super huge. Even though he landed low, Cesar Mora took home the gold.
Over on the street course, all eyes were on former Portland resident Aaron Feinberg.
Aaron Feinberg's definitely one of the most creative street skaters I've ever watched skate. He's crazy.
Amazing.
Unbelievable.
Pioneer.
He'll go big regardless wherever he's at. He could skate anything.
Aaron Feinberg will always come through with a good line and with the craziest things going on. I love to see that.
I keep it fresh without the aqua. Wrigley's or Banaka. Reserve is full of germs, so conserve your agua.
Well, things had changed a bit because Blake Dennis didn't make it to this event and wouldn't make it to any more with a broken ankle. So the opportunity lay in this guy's hands, Sean Robertson, to move up in the rankings. And that he did. He came out absolutely blazing the course with beautiful top soles and his trademark nose-picked 540s. That was good enough to put him in third place. But Marco Hinse came in even better, doing huge flat spin 540s, mixing it up on the course, spinning like he normally does. Marco Hinse placed second. But the man of the day, and well-deserved, Aaron Feinberg, who spent many years here in Portland growing up, came out and put together the most creative lines to put him on top once again this season.
So with Blake Dennis out and Sean Robertson's strong showing here, Sean moves into second place in the overall rankings. Last stop of the ASA Pro Tour, the Canadian National Exhibition in Toronto, Canada.
Sean Robertson had his work cut out for him. He was in Canadian country, home of Nicky Adams and Jonathan Bergeron, so he came out knowing he had to up the ante, and it didn't pay off, ending out in seventh. Wilfred Rossignol, the Frenchman, he wasn't at all intimidated. He came out throwing huge tricks, putting him up to second. Bergeron missed his first run, stuck in traffic. He only needed one to make the top 5. But Sven Bokerst, again, throwing a solid run like he did in the 2 European stops, finished out on top.
In the shadow of some burly rides at the CNE, the halfpipe brought out all the big guns who sought their last chance to move up in the rankings before the championships.
The only one conspicuously absent, Matt Salerno, but everybody else skated very well, including Takeshi Yasutoko and Javier Buhanda. Javier strong enough for 4th place, which helped him out a lot in the rankings. Takeshi was looking for his second win this season. It wouldn't come in Toronto, but he did have highlight moments, placing in third. Ty Chris, he had been in the top 3 all year long. He was looking for his second win as well, but today wouldn't be his day either. Cesar Mora, he went super big, but lacked consistency and ended out in 5th. The final ASA Pro Tour vert competition would belong to one of the Yasutokos, the older one, Ato. He put it all together with huge flat spins and a frontwards 900 in the middle of his run. This 99 X Games champion finally had his first Pro Tour win.
It's been an amazing year as far as vert skating goes. So many incredible guys have just come up out of the cracks.
2 years ago was only 3-4 guys could be in the top 3, you know, and the other was much behind. But now it's totally different, you know. In the final, the 10 guy, one can be first and can be the last, you know.
I just can't wait to watch it, let alone skate in it.
And Mike Budnick will skate the finals, and ending the year in 3rd place behind Takeshi Yasutoko and Cesar Mora. Rounding out the top 10, X Games champion Ato Yasutoko, and with a strong showing this year, rookie Shane Yost goes into the finals in 11th. In the street rankings, Aaron Feinberg never once gave up his #1 spot, heading into the finals almost 300 points ahead of Sean Robertson. Sean followed by Blake Dennis, some great skaters heading to Fort Myers for the World Championships. For Mark Shays, I'm Todd Shays. Be sure to check out the World Championships, a 1-hour special right here on ESPN. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.